Imagine this. One moment you're alive, sipping your morning coffee, checking your phone, maybe laughing at a meme. Then the next, silence. Total silence. No more heartbeats, no more scrolling, no more TikTok. Just nothing. It's the one experience we all share in common, yet fear the most and understand the least. So today, we're diving deep, literally and figuratively, into what actually happens when you die. From the raw science to the wild theories, from the messy biological truth to the possibility of eternal paradise or torment, this is the full story. Buckle up. Let's start with something fascinating. Despite our modern science-based world, belief in life after death remains surprisingly strong. Back in 2014, a Telegraph poll revealed that nearly 60% of people in the UK believe that some part of us continues after we pass away. Meanwhile, a 2015 Pew Research study found that 72% of Americans believed they'd go to heaven, a place described as a reward for those who've led good lives. Interestingly, 54% also said they believed in hell, a fiery underworld reserved for the unrepentant and morally bankrupt. These stats paint a picture of a society torn between science and spirituality. First, let's talk about what we know for sure. Science may not have all the answers about the afterlife, but it knows quite a bit about the body. When you die, the heart stops beating, blood stops flowing, and the brain no longer shows any electrical activity. This is what doctors call brain death, and it's essentially the point of no return. In some cases, machines can temporarily keep you functioning, but without brain activity, you're considered legally and medically dead. Alternatively, death can also come in the form of cardiac arrest. Your heart stops, and blood no longer circulates through your system. But here's where it gets eerie. Some people who have suffered cardiac arrest and were revived have claimed they were aware of their surroundings during the experience. Others describe a surreal journey toward a bright light. These near-death experiences suggest a kind of limbo between life and death. However, this window doesn't stay open long. Doctors say you have about 4 to 6 minutes of grace before brain cells begin dying, and revival becomes impossible. If you don't come back within that window, you've crossed over into what we call biological death. In other words, it's game over. What happens next isn't glamorous. In fact, it's kind of gross. Your muscles relax completely, including your sphincter, which means whatever was inside you is coming out. That burger and fries combo? It's leaving the building. Gas that was trapped in your intestines will escape, often creating a rather unpleasant odor. Your bladder might also release whatever urine was stored. So yes, dying is a messy affair, and in some cases, men might even ejaculate post-mortem due to muscle relaxation. Women, if pregnant, may experience what's known as a coffin birth, where a fetus is expelled from the body due to gas buildup. It's rare, but it happens. That's not all. As air escapes from your lungs and throat, you may produce moans or groans that can send chills down the spine of anyone nearby. These sounds aren't signs of life, just air pressure and muscle twitches. In fact, twitching is common. It's not a miracle. It's just leftover electrical impulses causing muscles to contract. If you died lying on your stomach, gravity may cause blood to pool in certain areas, possibly resulting in an erection. This pooling of blood, known as liver mortis, causes parts of your body to take on a purplish hue. Soon after, your body begins to cool. This process is called rigor mortis, or death chill. Your internal temperature slowly drops until it matches the temperature of your surroundings. Then comes rigor mortis, the infamous stiffness of death, which sets in within 2 to 6 hours. This stiffness happens because calcium is flooding your muscle cells as your body's systems shut down. Without blood to carry nutrients and remove waste, your cells start breaking down. This breakdown invites bacteria to begin their grim feast, leading to the next stage, decomposition. Now things get gruesome. You may notice that the body appears to grow fingernails and hair, but that's an illusion. What actually happens is that the skin retracts, giving the appearance of growth. Blisters form, skin loosens, and before long, bacteria and microorganisms have a full buffet. This stage is called putrefaction, and it's as nasty as it sounds. The stench has been described by one person as rotten eggs, feces, and a used toilet left out for a month multiplied by 1,000. In other words, unholy. Soon, anything soft in the body liquefies. Organs melt into goo. Only your bones, cartilage, and hair remain somewhat intact. If you're buried in a coffin, decomposition is slower, especially if you're embalmed. But if you're left exposed above ground, within a month you'll be little more than a puddle of biological sludge, picked apart by insects, animals, and bacteria. If buried traditionally, experts estimate it could take 8 to 12 years for your body to become just a skeleton. After about 50 years, even your bones begin to crumble and return to the earth. But these timelines can vary wildly depending on environment, temperature, and burial conditions. All this paints a clear picture of the biological side of death. But what about the spiritual or philosophical side? Some who survive near-death experiences report seeing beautiful lights, feeling intense peace, or reliving cherished memories. Yet others report the exact opposite, complete darkness, an utter void. One Reddit user described their experience as just black emptiness. No thoughts, no consciousness, nothing. Throughout history, thinkers have tried to understand what, if anything, comes next. French philosopher René Descartes famously argued that the soul is separate from the body. Many religious traditions share this view, suggesting that something, your spirit, your essence, lives on. Friedrich Nietzsche had a different take. He proposed the idea of eternal recurrence, a theory suggesting that life, energy, and existence endlessly repeat. You live the same life over and over, infinitely. That idea might make you reconsider how you're living right now. In Buddhism, there's the concept of the wheel of samsara, a cycle of death and rebirth that continues until one achieves enlightenment. The goal is to break free from this loop by reaching nirvana, a state of ultimate liberation. Reincarnation is closely tied to this, and some believe it explains phenomena like déjà vu, those strange moments where you feel like you've lived something before. Maybe you have, in another life. Then again, some traditions believe in a more linear journey. Die and face judgment. Will you ascend to a utopian paradise with glistening gates and celestial choirs? Or will you be dragged down to a fiery pit for your misdeeds? Maybe Saint Peter checks your life's resume and lets you in, or denies you for that candy bar you stole during a field trip to Niagara Falls. And perhaps, just maybe, you end up somewhere in between, waiting for your final destination. Or maybe, just maybe, there is nothing at all. No soul, no spirit, no rebirth. Just atoms dispersing into the universe, your essence feeding the earth, becoming part of the endless cycle of nature. Maybe what we call the soul is merely a beautiful illusion, crafted to help us cope with the terrifying thought of non-existence. It's a heavy idea, but one worth pondering. So what's the truth? Well, no one really knows, and that's what makes it all so fascinating. The great mystery of death is one that has inspired religions, philosophies, poems, and nightmares for centuries. What we do know is this. You're here now. You're breathing. You're watching this video. And that means you still have a chance to make life meaningful. Before you go, tell us, what do you believe happens after death? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. And while you're still among the living, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and check out our other fascinating videos. Trust us, you won't want to miss what we've got coming next.